All right, howdy everyone. Frankie here, New West Reset. Hello. How's it going, eh? Thank you very much for shooting in, joining a fella here for another Boots on the Ground video. And upon you watching this, it is July the 4th. So happy birthday to all of my American friends. Happy Independence Day. It's the 4th of July. And technically, today's the first day of the Calgary Stampede. There's a sneak peek Thursday night, but the official Stampede kickoff is Friday. They have the Stampede Parade, and the park gates open. The rodeo commences, the midway rides, the fair, the agricultural show, everything. It's the world's biggest rodeo, and it's the greatest outdoor show on earth. Over 100 years, the Calgary Stampede has been held annually here. Prior to that, it was kind of sporadic, every few years here or there. So it actually goes back more than 100 years, but annually every year, 100 years. So I generally, during the Stampede, like to go onto the Stampede grounds. There's the grandstand for the Rangeland Derby and a bunch of the rodeo events. As you can see, it's a hub of activity here today. Tractors going by, skid steers, forklifts, all kinds of heavy machinery and equipment, just getting everything ready to go. Because technically today is not July the 4th for me as I'm filming this, but as you're watching it, it will be Friday the 4th. So as mentioned, I try to come down to the Stampede grounds every Stampede just before the rodeo commences to try to give you a gander at some of the older historic buildings here on the grounds, on the rodeo grounds. But unfortunately, there's nary an old building left. Part of the reason for all of the hubbub and all of the activity is because over the past couple of decades, they've been slowly expanding the rodeo grounds and the Stampede grounds, the fairgrounds. But yeah, I try to come down to find old buildings to share with you before they get knocked down, and there's not many left. So last year, I think I got the last ones, the old Weedickville. I came down here today with fingers crossed to see if I could find something, and I think I did. So stick around, I'll be right back.
About a heaven in Alberta, where they've got all hell for a basement.
All right, and we're back. So I think this is the last old-timey old building here on the rodeo grounds. And I'm really glad I found it because I think it's on its last legs. I don't know if it's going to be here next year or the year after. But a very curious looking old joint. I'm not sure what its original purpose was. It looks like this is sort of a downspout watering spout, so maybe this was sort of a watering station. It's still got hoses and plumbing all hooked up here and different valves and connector adapters and so on. So I think this is maybe an old water pump house or something like that. But you can see it's very curiously built. It looks to me like there's layers of poured concrete to a certain point, and then you got red brick on top. First they painted it this weirdo blue for some reason. You can see a nice little arched window there at the top. Of course, it's all boarded in now, unfortunately. And this weirdo door here that's about 2.5, 3 feet below the paved ground level surface. So you got to go down a couple of, looks like 3 wooden steps to get into it. And even with that said, it's a low door, arched doorway as well. So yeah, very unusual old building here. Don't know the age of it, don't know how long it's been here. And as mentioned, I'm only guessing at its purpose. Some kind of pump house, watering depot, watering station, something like that. I think it's technically temporarily still used as that, but I think it's going to be going bye-bye pretty soon. So I'm glad I caught it. Yeah, this is a very strange, the way it definitely looks like poured concrete. You can see here aggregate as it's been chipped away and they've painted over it. So there is, you know, definitely telltale signs that it's poured concrete, and then a few layers of brick or a few courses of brick on top of that, then a wooden roof with that corrugated metal on the top. And then of course any sort of electrical that they've had to put in has been retrofitted after the fact. You can see all the conduit here on the outside of the building, junction boxes and so on. Up there as well you see a little bit of the old electrical system, the old knob and tube there. Those are look like glass or ceramic insulators. Now this whole area, the Stampede Park, it's all been paved over. Staging areas, parking, you name it. So, not sure what the original ground level used to be here. I don't know how high it's been, you know, how much the height has been increased since it's been paved over. But this definitely is looking a little weird and very odd, to say the least. From the goggle machine on the goggle maps, if you look at this building, this fence wasn't here, so you were able to kind of get around the building, but I don't think I can anymore. It's all fenced off and there's barbed wire. I'm going to pause it and kind of have a poke around, see if I can get in on the other side or on the back side. It doesn't look like I can. So I just spoke to a gentleman that's working, and he says it actually was and still is a pump house. And what it does is it supposedly, or what he's saying anyways, is it draws water. The pump draws water from the Elbow River, which is the river that's just down here. And they use it to water the track on the rodeo grounds. The circular, well not circular, the oval dirt track, which is known as the Rangeland Derby. That's where they have the chuck wagon races, which in my personal humble opinion is the most exciting event in the Stampede Rodeo. The bull riding and the saddle bronc and the bareback bronco busting and all of that stuff is exciting and fantastic to watch, but the chuck wagon races are something else. So yeah, apparently that's what it's used for. Now I'm not supposed to go around here, but let me see if I can have a peek here. Because you know what, I'm just gonna walk down here and see. If they holler at me, they holler at me, and then I'll leave. Hey look, there's an old chuck wagon there. Yeah, that's cool. No shortage of those things in and around Calgary. You know, because we're Cowtown, don't you know? That's the nickname of Calgary, Cowtown. One of the nicknames. There's another one, old one over there. An old chuck wagon or an old stagecoach right there. It's actually where I'm headed, because there's the other side of that building. If I can get a little closer, but now I'm seeing stuff down here. Pile of big giant granite boulders. Just down there in the trees going all the way down to the river. Some kind of retaining wall down in there. Wow. I'm gonna have to try to get in there somehow. Anyways, this is where we're headed here. So yeah, much the same. Oh, no, they've got, there was another door or window or opening up there. Arched top to it. There's a bit of a hole there, some damage. There along the roof line or along the eave there. And this little stout little building right here. Sunken down, very unusual. Something there too. Low Mudflood window. Alright, I got the stink eye from that guy, and he was friendly and informative, so I don't want to tick him off. I'm going to head out of here. There's a bike path that's across the river, so I'm going to head over there and shoot back from that direction and see what else I can see from that vantage point. So I'll just ask you to hold tight for another moment. I'll pause it, and again, I shall be back momentarily. All right? Cheers, everyone. No horses beyond this point. Great. Now what am I supposed to do? And I guess we'll keep trucking. All right, we are back. So I've made my way to the other side of the Elbow River, and we've had a lot of rain. That's why the river level is quite high and looking very muddy. It's normally quite clear, kind of a turquoisey blue color. It's mountain runoff, mountain glacier runoff, so it's normally pretty clean. But with all the rain we've had the last 3 or 4 days, it's bound to happen. But anyways, I'm just going to make my way down this pile of granite boulders that for some reason are just kind of dumped here on the riverbank, so we can get a little bit of a closer look at the backside of that old pump house, because there's some interesting things going on right there. So there's the structure itself there. There's that grandstand in the background, but there's the old blue pump house building. I'm going to have to zoom you in here, obviously, but you can see that there's a big concrete retaining wall or something built out, and it's got some kind of rectangular opening right there where that tree bough, once I get my hangnails out of the way, that right where that tree bough is hanging down there, you can see there's an opening there, and again, a bunch of big boulders kind of strewn and piled up everywhere. But if we move a little bit past that weird opening right there, there's a culvert or a drainage opening there. So I don't know if that's storm sewer system, rainwater that's just going to dump right into the river here or what. I have no idea. That's what my guess is going to be, or at least that's what my guess is that they would say it is. But there's that other opening right there. Can I get you any closer? I think I'm at the maximum zoom here, people. So not really sure what purpose that is serving there, but geez, I wonder if a guy could get himself a canoe or a kayak and some rubber boots, some wellies, and maybe explore in there at some point. I don't know. Let's put a pin in that and see if we can do that at some point here with the channel. But I just thought that was very intriguing, very interesting, and a little bit mysterious. So yeah, not too sure what's going on there. So I'm guessing they're going to say by the official narrative that that's, you know, where they access the water to pump it up into that pump house. But really what they're doing is they've got big hoses that they've just run along the ground, down the riverbank into the water, and they're just pumping the water up with big pumps, big electric pumps, using those big sort of flexible hoses or big giant tubes, flexible tubes. So they're not using that weird rectangular opening there at all. But maybe at one point that's what they used to use? I don't know. But curiosity is going to get the better of me, and I'm definitely going to try to get down in there. But anyway, with that said, I think that is going to seal the deal here today for Frankie, New West Reset, and an exploration of what I think is one of the very last old world remnants left here on Stampede Park rodeo grounds. So as always, if you would kindly let me know what you think down below. Of course, do all the other things down here to help a fella out. And until the next one, take care out there and have yourselves a good one. And once again, happy birthday, America. Happy Independence Day. Enjoy your 4th of July long weekend. And we'll see you again soon. All right? Cheers.